Hello, this is Donkey's Revenge. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are, especially if you're sitting on the toilet right now watching this. In today's video, I'm going to take you on a journey of the most popular American slang from the 1920s to the 2000s. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll tell you which slang term I wish would come back in style. If you enjoy this video at any point, hit the like button, subscribe, and share with your friends. Oh, and comment below. Comment below if there are any slang terms that you really like. And I only go up to the 2000s in this video, so if you have any current slang terms that you like, let me know in the comment section down below which one your favorites are. So now, before we get into this, this list of popular American slang terms. This is in no way meant to be the end-all be-all list of terms. There's so many popular slang terms in each decade that I could literally make an entire video for each decade. These are just the top ones that stuck out to me for each decade. So let's get into it. All right, so 1920s. The 1920s saw some world-shaping events. I don't know if you guys know, but in the 1920s, Tennessee became the last state of the Union to give women the right to vote. And mass media was born with the proliferation of the radio. So the reporting of the news, and more radios got into the home. So that's when mass media was born. So the slang term that I thought was really interesting, it was a very popular slang term of that time, is hotsy-totsy, which means perfect. So like if you use it in a sentence, it would be like, Betty, you really think you're so hotsy-totsy, don't you? All right, so that's a good one. I've actually used that one. I think it's funny. In the 1930s, so we go to the 1930s. The 1930s, fortunately, it's a pretty depressing decade. It began with the Great Depression, and even more depressing, and it ends with World War II. So the 1930s, the one I liked on this one is, I'll be a monkey's uncle, which is a phrase of disbelief. That, like, you just won $100. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. So it's like a sign of disbelief. I think that's funny. All right, so the 1940s, that was dominated by World War II, and then the trials that came after it. And then that decade ended with NATO. So we got the 1940s. I like this term, this slang term is smooch or kiss. So come here and give me a little smooch. The 1950s is going on in the 1950s. That began with the Korean War. There's a lot of war going on. That began with the Korean War. Korean War, a lot of people actually really don't know that much about. And then that decade of the 1950s ended with Alaska and Hawaii finally becoming states. So a lot of people don't know that those two were not states up until that time. So in the 1950s, this is one that I think is really funny. Neck or kiss. So you could say, Johnny and Sally were necking at the Lookout on Friday night. So I just realized I have a theme here we had one from a previous decade that's smooch from actually 40s, and then the next one is neck or kiss. So next time you're kissing someone, usually like when it's necking, you say necking, it's not like smooch where you could give your mom a smooch, it's just a kiss, it means nothing. But the 1950s neck or necking is like with a romantic interest. Like, so you wouldn't be necking with your mom because that would be weird. All right, so the 1960s. 1960s begins with the election of JFK, of Kennedy, and the approval of birth control. And it ended that decade with the Apollo 11 moonwalk. All right, so I like this one. The slang term from the 1960s that I like, that was popular, is groovy or excellent. Can't even say the name. Like, oh, Jimmy's guitar solo was so groovy, man. Yes, that was a good one. I like that one. Groovy. Have I ever used Groovy? I don't know. Anyway, so the 1970s begins with the first email being sent across a network. And that decade ends with U.S. hostages being taken in Iran. So for 1970s, the popular slang term of that time that I liked was dig it. In other words, to like something or understand, like, oh, so you see, the box is square. Oh yeah, I can dig it, man. Yeah. All right, the 1980s, going on to the 1980s. The 1980s begins with Ronald Reagan being elected president and ends with the end of the fall of the Berlin Wall. So I really like this one. The slang term for the 1980s that I liked, that stuck out, is bodacious, or beautiful. Like, oh, Carla's so bodacious. Yeah, so that's a good one. I don't know, did I ever use that one? I don't think so. All right, in the 1990s, so going in the 1990s, that decade begins with the Persian Gulf War, and it ends with the impeachment of President Clinton. So in the 1990s, the one that stuck out to me that was popular is the popo, where the police, like, oh, hide your drugs, here comes the popo. Moving on to finally the 2000s. The 2000s begin with the election of George W. Bush and ends with the creation of Bitcoin. So I don't know if you guys know, Bitcoin has actually been around for that long. So in the 2000s, the slang term that pops out to me is sweet, as in cool, like, that movie was sweet. So that takes us up to the 21st century. So I thought that was pretty interesting. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Leave a comment below with your favorite slang term. So now we're at the point where I'm going to tell you the slang term that I would love if it would come back. Okay? So here we go. Word. Word is like in agreement, like you agree with something. So somebody says, oh man, that movie was so good. And you reply, you got to do a little flip back of your head too. And you say, you got to go, word. Or like, hey, what do you think? Do you think we should go out on Friday night? Word. Yeah, word. Word is definitely the word that I want you guys to bring back. I want your goal, your assignment for this week is sometime in the next 5 days, you guys have to incorporate word into your dialogue. So anyways, that's me. That's Donkey's Revenge. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you want to see more videos like this, or you want to see me talk about something else, then let me know. All right? Peace.